two players in those performances. I think the desk already mentioned one of them with Crash.
78%, dude. They got some kind of crazy stats going on. Okay, Fnatic on defense, Liquid on attack, 5 ghosts.
Patatek over on that breach had an
I mean,
unbelievable
we've spoken about a good amount about Vice, and we can still do it. So the Vice on attack, a little bit rough. You can never kind of get that early info if they are going to push aggro, so you probably won't see Fnatic add a good amount of aggro rounds in. Fnatic using the Cypher, a lot of times you can 4-1 and just heavy retake over towards the site, whereas on defense you can... This guy is probably the best pistol player we got. He might be the best pistol player at the moment. Who's better than this guy at pistols right now? I don't think there's anyone.
That's 3 triple kills in pistols in a row. Yes. Like, even though they lost one of those pistols, Kayak is just so consistent with how much damage he's able to do in this round. But as said, I think Fnatic had the perfect read in this scenario. They had a full setup ready for their opponents to go into dish, and if you're talking about teams and doing their research,
I've looked at all the names. I think he's the best.
You heard Gorilla ask the question as well, something to keep an eye on as the game goes on, about Nats with the nerf coming in onto Vice, whether he would still be playing or whether it will be back over to the Cypher. Certainly a comfort zone for Nats looking at previous iterations of the
Hero,
game.
Hero Bucky.
Just about
now what?
the life of Camo, who desperately wants a close range battle.
Yeah, this is nicely done from Fnatic, keeping the distance here the whole time that Bucky ain't gonna get anything done.
For just a second. Look,
you're gonna try and
yeah, if they'd stuck around an A main, then maybe.
They basically invented that strat back in the days before time, before they were Fnatic.
You think the Bookie is your ally?
Well placed. Doesn't really want to give too much away.
Need to rebuild the train.
In hand at this stage,
yeah.
And, the rest of his team.
Maintenance is happening as we speak. Mini.
He's also not necessarily the player you'd want to garner the additional orbs when you look at who else is left standing. Rolling Thunder, Orbital Strike, or Armageddon would probably be the ultimates of choice. Instead, though, just on a retrieval mission. The ultimate orbs, the goal.
30 seconds left.
Then, well, likely just running into their deaths.
Cage trigger.
Very much should be 20 seconds left. You definitely don't want to survive in this situation unless you're thriving and winning the round. Which, as you can see, is an improbability at this point. Salvo's on their way, and maybe just try to find Alpha here.
Oh boy, there's a world where they run away here.
5 seconds. Time for Patatek to go running forward. Death awaits, and he almost drops Crashies. But in the end, 2 players on low HP. Potential for damage was there, but Fnatic secure a solid second.
Yeah, he's probably the guy you really didn't want to give that ultimate orb over to as well, because that Armageddon, fantastic for retakes, fantastic for plant denial. Like, it's such a high impact art on this map where you look at the sites and how tight a lot of the positions that you're able to plant in, because everywhere else is so open, you don't really want to take that gamble.
I mean, the bonuses are goodbye for them.
A sniper rifle on Boaster,
and looking like Fnatic want to get aggro, and again, this is one of the weaknesses with the Liquid comp, because you're always going to have somewhere weak across the map, or somewhere empty.
In fact, even a few weaknesses here and there for the side of Liquid. They're going to want to get an early response.
It's pretty smart from Fnatic. They don't do something big aggro with a lot of util. They just wait. If there's util going to be here, no util, they decide to late push down. Dude, look how on top of this Liquid are. They know their comp's weak to the pushes. They know it's going to happen. And they're really ready for this push.
Didn't even get to see them. He has been dropped.
Yeah, just good awareness of just like what's weak about the comp and making sure they cover it up.
Try and make their way through.
Oh, Alpha sleeping.
Seemingly caught sleeping at the wheel. That one's all too easy for Nats, and sure, Crashy still survives on the site, and Kayak clings to life, but they need quite a lot here. Camo.
Dude, look at the HPs, 5 and 12. No damage done yet.
The only decision is to just hold on to the weaponry. For Liquid, that's as good as it gets in terms of what they bounce back with in this third round, and very sort of patient play. It was clear they knew what the plan was from their opponent.
No one from Liquid wants to hunt here.
As they walk around
It's just not worth risking the armor rebuy.
Roaster's cam there as well, because you can see he is waffling away the entire time that they're rotating off that site, using this as a mini timeout essentially to try to pad those gaps.
The idea from Fnatic here is a good idea. It's a good idea, Liquid just on top of it.
He's on his way home. But for Fnatic, this is somewhere 2-1. They came in with weaker weapons. They go out with 2 rifles,
come on.
presumably. That's a great position to be in. And I think it's a good
Should ask him, dude.
opportunity to see how Team
He's
Liquid
in
are approaching that
odds to
site
stream a
hit.
fair
Get
amount.
ready for that camo instant blitz out. Something you're going to have to be wary of, especially when you've committed heavy to that north side crunch. South is going to be that little bit weaker. And if they unfortunately push the site where your Cypher isn't, Camo gets a lot of free real estate.
Do you think they should remove the damage report? Nah, I think it's pretty good. I like that they got rid of the info of util though. Like telling you numbers, that was a little bit busted.
Already seeing that continuation of the back and forth. Fnatic have got to be sat there thinking, okay, we could have closed this on that previous map, on our choice of Icebox. We also could have taken it somewhere else. We've seen the depth of map pull. They were the ones that chose to batten out Lotus, not wanting to take it there, a map that's been incredibly strong for them. Now ending on Fracture.
Okay, 2-4 on top of this? Sure, it's only 2 people that can't buy next. But you could maybe argue 3.
That pace is not stopping though.
Liquid certainly not coming in cold after Icebox.
How?
Dangerous position for Camo.
How's he alive?
Yeah, they can't spam him out from there, and Alpha, you're not quite safe to go swing.
Liaise, thank you so much for the tier 1. Appreciate the 5 months. He was definitely in the open for a while and then tucked around the corner. What the hell is that molly?
Forcing him into an awkward spot. The spam's avoided again. I mean, he is in a number of situations where he should be dead to rights. Third time lucky.
Dude goes back to the position that he just cleared, takes the timing through the smoke as well. They look at Camo go, accidental headshot as well. He got info on the other, but he might have overstepped with that. Damn, really, really nice. I feel like Camo's going to take full praise for that.
Liquid neck and neck with Fnatic.
The funny thing is that's always the problem with this Liquid squad. You feel like you're dealing with the problem when you take out Camo, but your problems have only just begun, because while you're dealing with this maniac running around through smokes, Nats is sitting waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Both had a cool little molly for this corner though, I like that.
Takes the round home.
I like that, but then I didn't see what util the breach had, but you probably got a flash on top of that, because the reaction is this.
Nats even realizing the situation, every single player on that defensive side is currently sat with light shields.
You might go into the smoke, I guess. You got 2 reactions, is that? Okay, Outlaw goes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that can get 1 shot. So instead of going for the eco and an Outlaw meta, they go for the light armor. This could really backfire. They think Alpha's playing off-site.
He's looked the wrong way, but he still grabs one. That's all that you can write home about, though, is Team Liquid run riot over the site. Find themselves a plant as a result, a man advantage to play
Did they put tail into this? Looks like it.
If the plant goes the way of Serial as well, that'll be the Armageddon. I said that ultimate impulse plant is utter filth. He's not in the greatest position for it, but it might not even be needed. Crashes with the trade. As said, he carried them last time around, but not this time. It is
nice from Liquid though. Everyone's fighting together when we look at the duels on site. I wouldn't be against Fnatic doing some kind of timeout.
Liquid play more just for his individual ability. Work does the stopper in this round. Anybody trying to find space met Patatek. And while for Chronicle, his doppelganger, it has to just be the save again.
This time they're not being so forgiving. Not letting him carry that weapon.
If I'm Fnatic at the moment, I would go back to doing the pushes.
Why not?
Yeah.
I think that's something they tried playing off-site, they tried playing slightly on-site. The pushes were still pretty good against this comp, it's just the fact they got punished early.
And we've already seen it. Once they get going, it's hard to slow them down. Streaking together rounds that ultimately made the difference over on Icebox. Fnatic, they don't want that to be the case yet again. They've seen this story play out before. And it will be an early timeout as they attempt.
Is it your map?
I think it is. I think it is. One and the same, one brain.
We're on the same wavelength. Is there more to come? Okay, it's like listening in and just get a little camo giggle at the end.
Get to see how the pros adjust their in-ears.
I don't
That's
mind.
Good to see.
But hey, we're into a pause anyway. 3 rounds in a row, and I do wonder if it's more the manner in which they've gone. Liquid have decided, like, you know that your opponents are going to take space, you know that they're going to get aggressive and try and feel out the map and work out where you're going.
Any of these teams losing in the lower bracket made the lower brackets not free.
Just going direct into the site, not waiting for any of these lurks, happy to try and challenge Alpha Year's setup, which, I'll be honest, thus far hasn't really held them at the door. And you already look at the credits that are really starting to build up on their side, and the fact that Fnatic now come into this one with what is likely a light buy. Liquid really are starting to run away with this one a little bit. The coaching staff of Fnatic looking to get them back on track.
Get it in early on. As we said, we've seen that from Team Liquid before. So far on the attack side, once push comes to shove, once they make that push towards the site, there is very little to slow them down.
Okay, timeout from Fnatic. It looks like they're going back to going aggro on this one. It is just a low buy. They got the hero gun. Well, hero guns.
From Arcade, 3 players going to take that space. Team
Was
Liquid
this
faking
trap
out
play
control
or
towards
okay,
A
trap
main,
play?
leaving their vice wall behind to clear that out. And a slow creep through to this B site that's been left mostly open with Crashies trying to grab a bit of information. It comes with a heavy cost. Kayak's on site. This could get dangerous. The smoke has left the planter isolated, but it's Kayak to pick up Kiko. They've now found themselves in a decent spot. The Chronicle's only got a classic. I realize what I'm saying.
Pretty important.
Chronicle with a classic. It's as dangerous as anyone with an op. And with Alpha Air in a sneaky spot, if he got that, the round flips on its head, but instead it is Nats on the vice. You can question the pick.
Nicely done from Nats.
He's good with the rifle, I'll tell you that. 4-2.
Yeah, dude.
The saying is about
I just
fooling
can't.
once. Unfortunately, with Nats, you can't
I
really
can't see
fool them
Fnatic
once,
winning
so
many
the
rounds
saying
where they
is
just
kind
sit
of
on
null
sites
and
like
void,
this.
but even hiding in the corner, he's always going to check. And I think the round kind of died with Kayak. There was that attempt with the rifle, an explosive play, but.
Okay, we've got pings going out, and this time the pings were a little bit deeper over towards A, and we've got a 4-1, so looks like we're going to get that aggro play. Liquid are just spamming B hits until they stop them. This one's probably a little bit easier. You got Vice or underpass. Yeah, and they're going to get the information of the wall going down.
Try and get in behind them. In fact, it is a double up both times. Both teams, in fact, doing exactly the same thing. And Alfia is
Camo all the way behind.
Just hiding, hoping he gets his gun back.
Eco saved the smoke for this as well.
One goes Camo, and he will be dropped in the end. Zalfier finally gets his reward, but they don't know about Kiko.
Nice shots.
And they find out the hard way. It's Crashies alone, spotted as well, and a 1 versus 4. He is not fancying his chances. Pause all you like. Team Liquid, they stick to their winning ways.
Yeah, they stick to the paciness as well. It was the second that overdrive went through for the defense, Camo went, well, anything you can do, I can do better.
The strat, the B spam.
Threw that in with the steel garden, which, well, if you're up
I mean,
against
this one's simple with the
Visor,
Visor. You just use Visor, same as Killjoy, same area.
And for Alpha, yeah. Well, I
classic.
think there's got to be a level of frustration, because not only has a player got past you,
dude, look at their money, man. The money's just insane.
Before you even get the trade out. That is I think that was as well. That was Chronicle, right? So that was a lot of your util.
Man, Chronicle had a really tough time as well, because he's the second man on that main push.
Then who became?
Getting shot in the back, not ideal. He's the second guy in the main push, and he gets blocked off by the Vice wall. So he's already had to wait that out. Then goes running in like, okay, guys, I'm finally here. Here comes a stun. Bam! He's shot in the face by an angle that his teammates cover. That's got to be
the guy just warms up on Rust, man.
It comes down to the position of the smoke, but
he's
also
just built different.
Just
goes on deathmatch on Rust.
Like they
to warm up for Valorant.
The better team. And you know what, Tom? What we're seeing so far here on the attack, it looks like that might be the case. A big challenge on the cards.
A lot of pings on this one. Are they expecting something different, maybe? Well, they know that the op's in place, so they're going to make sure that they... Yeah, they're expecting the op on this angle, it looks like. So what is this?
Down in the match. They are
drone?
Look at it as well. They are grouped up, all 5 players in one spot. They're not lurking. They're not playing across the map. Sure, they've got utility down.
Dude,
to
this is the most B spam I've ever seen.
To send it in as a unit, pressure together. Camo stunned up, but he's up against an operator. It needs to be the quick pick, and Kayak gets absolutely nothing. He's found the opener for the squad once again. The stats might not be pretty, but he is doing his job every time.
And even Boaster went for a jump peek to even confirm that they were there, down to 36 HP. Basically out of the main fight. A spam would take him down. And Team Liquid, 5 versus 4, they're playing aggressive. I'm not sure I like this. It could be a bridge too far. Camo's picked off another though. Now there's no need to go
They gotta save again. They definitely gotta save again. They're up against Brimort as well.
That might be the call. I don't know how Chronicle's gonna get out of there. Smoke's gonna fade. Player already pushed past. Nats is dead to rights. It's a clean kill for Chronicle. A second, but he'll fall. And
Dude, they are, no joke, just running it down over towards B. I mean, they've got a variety of B hits at the moment. They've been mixing it up a good amount. All dependent, but they gotta... Dude, every second of the timeout is going to be about this. Got to be about this site.
Isolating Kayak, who was ready to try and find a pick, but they have been just pressuring the same
Liquid, no, the overwhelm's really good, and I feel like Camo's doing great. He's got a lot of deaths, but the amount of space that he's making is so important.
Running straight through. It is a Polish bulldozer.
Good job. Nice direction.
Just coming straight through onto that site.
And we know what to do, boys. They haven't.
6 rounds in a row.
Another round to get that outlaw out.
They even used,
3 people can get one shot.
That round. Crashy's trying to find a semblance of something. I won't lie, I don't even think I noticed it go through.
It's been a shaky start.
Reminder that Fnatic chose to play Fracture instead of Lotus. That's true.
6-2 that they find themselves in now. Fnatic called a pause. No solutions being put into practice, at least. Try as
Dude, Lotus would have been a banger as well. Are these not the best 2 Lotus? Actually, wait, Heretics exist. These are like the best 3, two of the 3 best Lotus teams in EMEA.
The A site's already been lost. Trapwire, activate.
Okay.
Good kill for Boaster. They've dodged the ult. Already a decent trade out to start this. Go under pressure, but he's got support. Never mind, he doesn't
nice shots, man.
Anymore. That's the rifle putting in work.
Finally,
okay.
Crashy's in a position where he can do some damage. They've managed to avoid him throughout. Camo, though, still looking to fight spots.
Damn, nice shots as well.
And makes it look easy. From a 4v2 to a 2v2, and he's
Reach
looking
flash
for
if you want it.
a little bit more. They line up, but he doesn't get anything. Now it's left all on to Panic.
Oh my, dude, Crashy's had an absolute round though. He hit some lovely shots again.
Like a solid map for him, but he needed to dig deep to win that round.
Yeah, man. I mean, the only rifle coming into it, he's able to trade out the
I mean, they had a
first in main,
breach
but from
flash,
that
but I
point
can't be super
forward,
angry with what was going
He's
on.
at a disadvantage in every fight. He's tagged up, but it just doesn't seem to matter. Boaster does well at the start, but in this 4v2 that Crashy's brought them to with that initial fight, dodging the trade and then taking them out as his teammates fall.
Boys, let's go.
That might put the win back in the sails of Fnatic, and damn, you better hope it does. 6-3
1, 2, 3.
at the moment. And that's
Reset.
the first
1-9 loss
round in the
bonus.
last
This
7
is it.
that they've been able to pick up.
Look at the scoreboard.
I feel like Liquid can kind of end it here.
He seems to be the man at the moment. Well, Kayak has done
I don't know if Liquid can be doing this against Fnatic.
They left them in a trap.
This has been, if you look at Fnatic, every demo, when Boaster has an ult, you'll see this setup. Ready to stun over towards here, ready to brim ult. I don't think you can do that.
This can become a very different half.
Like 80-90% of their breach ults, brim ults are just a punish over towards A.
Well, Nats is always careful, but Kiko wasn't. And now Serial.
Yeah, maybe just getting caught up in it a little bit, because I know that's in the anti. It has to be.
Sneaky positions that he's just been rooted out
Too
of,
consistent.
dropped in early on before he can have the impact. This time he's right on that horse. Serial being burned out of that position, and he's double flanked on main as he's waiting for these players to overpeak in front of him. They're just waiting for
Yeah,
their
they maybe
teammates
just
to come
forgot
up
about that
behind.
one.
And yeah, it might seem like a lot
2
of
failed
commitment
rounds
towards
over
main.
towards A.
Ultimate's
You gotta...
everybody swinging in, but
Everyone's going to be
just like the
thinking
start
that
of
that B
Revenge
hit's
of the
coming.
Sith, the opening scene, you got to throw the kitchen sink at it. Try to connect those rounds together. Get the win back in your sails.
Yeah, I would have it in there. Yeah, I think they probably just forgot, right, Bacon?
If they can equalize this
That's where I'd be thinking.
they can forget about
Dude, look at Crashy's
streak.
compared to the rest of his team. The
That
hell?
bit in the film where they win round 9 and 10 back to back.
Yeah,
That was my favorite bit.
That's an epic moment.
6-4. Liquid still in the lead, but we've seen this already. The same for Liquid in the last map. It took a big round for them to get back into the game. Nats under pressure, but still seemingly
No
thriving
way,
within it.
man.
It's only gonna be the
That's
one with the
nuts,
trade.
dude. That was such a
Immediate
sick
on the other
POV to
side,
watch.
Camo once again dancing in towards the opponent's spawn. Chronicle, He's tucked in. Fnatic is completely unaware. That will be a plant for Serial. Bear in mind, that is his ultimate online. Well, at least it will be once he's no longer suppressed.
Yeah, I mean, if he can get to heaven... Oh, dude, that's the molly he was doing earlier. This is a sick molly for this corner. I like it. If he can get to heaven, he can definitely win the round.
He's tanking that utility down to 70 HP. Blinded up as well.
Man's getting util dumped.
To help out. He'll drop after just one to pressure on to Kiko, but he delivers right when he needs to. One picked up. Chronicle trying to stick it to half. In fact, he's going to get it all the way there. Forces the fight with Kiko. Kiko sees he's not defusing. Running this clock down. The time.
Oh, it's really well played, man.
The Red Bull
Dude.
clutch found. Team Liquid guaranteeing themselves.
Serial on site does insane, though. They even get that into a 1v2.
We've mentioned it before.
Another B site win. Dude, every single round is on B, basically.
Of course, we know that Fnatic can be a different beast. Never down, never out, but we've seen those huge moments from either side. Kiko moving away from the duelist we saw on both previous maps onto the Brimstone, still
Okay, big change up. And this is the first time they're actually going into the 3-person setup over towards Arcade. Last time they did this, they just contacted here, but this time it looks like they're going to drone.
Just that little bit lower. Kayak finally in the right place at the right time, but stunned up.
Well, that tail ult's pretty good with the salvos behind it as well. Maybe mistimed it slightly.
And even has a little help from Nat.
They're unstoppable when they go B.
He's a man of many moments, Mitch, but
not this one.
Are you sure?
Rolling Thunder, Armageddon online, and they're just sending it. There's no waiting around. They are gonna blitz in with utility.
That's insane. I mean, they just hit B every single round that they won.
Talk about a lead at the half.
Fnatic ulted. I mean, they all look good. The tail salvos. They just dodged it well. They dodged it well, and Patty did great.
A bump in the road, but that's all that Fnatic could put up. Let's hope the second half has a bit more promise.
Yeah, I think Fnatic are going to be kicking themselves a little bit there. I do think, you know, that third round where they held for that push, I feel like that was really in Fnatic's brain that they did that. Because then they didn't really play retake over towards B. They wanted to fight the site a little bit more. They never kind of pushed and actually had any map control anywhere. That punish from Liquid was really important on that third round. Bacon, you prefer this map over Icebox or not? I don't mind this map that much. This map diffs Icebox? Yeah, I agree.
Well, we mentioned Fnatic. They only managed to play 2 games.
Mini, why have you snuck Ascent in there?
To last year, somewhere that they haven't had their finest performances of late. It was a time where you think of any international event, you think of Fnatic, but that's faded away, and now they're on the cusp of losing.
People seem to dislike it. Dude, I like it. I like Ascent. It's good.
2 wins in a row needed in an elimination lower bracket run with teams that are leveling up coming into this stage of the tournament.
Wow, there was a year.
This is the third lowest win rate of all agents on Fracture. Interesting.
Nobody else was there to be remembered. Now Liquid look
I mean, I do think that
a best of 3s within the VCT.
I mean, I will be honest. Normally, most teams play a little bit better against it.
And the first time it might happen
than Fnatic did on defense.
Would be to send them
I think that punish round again over towards Dish was just so pivotal. I mean, both are really overfought it, in my opinion.
Has been building towards for such a long time with
3-2 on Pistols, 1-0. And I guess we gotta just watch Kayak with this gun.
Greatest rosters of the early Valorant years to now lead this team. They are 5 rounds away from making history in this matchup. And while making the owners of the org very happy indeed, who stand in their way are the masters of the comeback. Fnatic looking to try and turn the tide, and maybe a Kayak 3K will help them out.
Winners of stage 1 last year on the ropes, 4
Kayak,
rounds.
mate, you're the duelist. Get in there.
Disadvantage here in the
Everyone
pistol.
else is entering.
Kayak, he'd been putting up 3 Ks, 3 in a row, but now he's put to bed early. Damage onto Alphier in this 2 versus 2. Oh, he's almost finished off by Nats, but the wall gets in the way. Still a chance for Fnatic, but time is ticking. They need to force the fight, and Alpha successfully takes Nats out, leaves it onto Serial. He's had a rougher
Oh, what a shot.
so far, but this could be his round to bury the
Oh,
hatchet
he's
in
just
the backs
walking
of
back, man.
Fnatic,
He's not ready for the
but
peak
Alphier
properly.
bails them out on 15 HP.
Okay,
The
double pistol for Fnatic.
2 for 2 on this map, but they're still trailing by 3.
Yeah, they needed that. They really needed that. Bring the energy back up, but more importantly, just the distance that would have been built between them and Liquid at that stage might have been enough to put this to bed. Instead, a heroic play on low HP.
Okay, 2-0
Not
for
much to
2
be
overall for Pistol.
Thrown into this round. I'm looking at Fnatic investing into the light shields. Clearly confident he can do the damage with the classic alone. And a very aggressive early stack up in towards A. Looking like they're gonna wrap around the world, potentially picking up orbs as they go.
Go, go, go.
Just hunting for where Fnatic currently lie, but after the trip has been broken, information has been sent.
I'm out
Dish
here.
completely under their control.
This Vice
is
wall?
a very open A side.
What is it? It leaves a gap in between here that you can't run through, but you can get shot through. Is that the plan?
Camo who was spotted. Fnatic, they're not fully aware of just how many numbers are being committed on that side. The drone sees nothing on B, but luckily they still make the call to move into this A site. Wide open. Free real estate. It's Team Liquid. They're going to be forcing the fight, actually.
Oh.
The salvo is putting them out in the open.
Oh, hold
There
up.
goes one for Nats. Not like this, surely, as Camo falls. The weapon to be recovered up top is nothing really to write home about. Alphier again, bailing.
Okay, dude, I mean, Alpha's gonna get his ult.
With a quad kill.
One away.
Fnatic secure this round with relative ease, and you can thank this man for both of those.
I think back to this man's debut playing for Fnatic. He definitely was not on the Cypher. He was playing the Raze on this map. I think it was where we were firmly within that chamber meta, and he took over that duelist spot and was frying just the same.
Oh, dude.
It's been the funny thing is as well, he had 6 kills in that first half. I believe he's had 6 kills in the second half already, and we're only a couple of rounds in. All of them utilizing that trusty ghost as well. Nats up top, Guardian in hand, and Crashies was well aware of the potential of that peak. The defense already fighting firmly towards that south side. Taking a lot of control, but it's
Yeah,
the
this
same
is good
setup
info
as
for
before.
Camo though.
You're
Doesn't want to
leaving
break the trip,
side
doesn't
the
want to
utility,
let them know that he's got all this
grouping up,
info,
ready
but
for some sort of
everyone
pressure.
can pretty much focus towards top side apart from here.
Look to Serial to either find one or at a minimum survive
Dude,
this
the
engagement.
late cross? No way, he broke the trip as the hit happened. So now I'm looking at Alpha and he's got the most perfect time over towards A main as well. Oh boy, money's gonna be crazy after this round.
When it comes to this map. They've just
Dude,
heard
that was kind of
all
nice
this
timing
well
from
Nats.
Alpha taking the
And he
ropes
will
over
be
here.
dealt with ease. That's it. Team Liquid. May even be calling the save at this point. Patatek can even get out of here. Smoke to try to get him back.
Well, we get a close map.
Problem is, Alphier is feeling very confident indeed. He's just gone to get the rifle and runs right back out. There was a chance there. He saw Patatek toying with the idea of a peek, but that rifle, much more valuable.
There's
carried
so
through the
much
next.
money for
I
Fnatic.
think Alfie had that moment of realization of, well, I could run in while having a Vandal, but the Bulldog was willing to be sacrificed. They actually gave him a Guardian
look at
so
him go.
he could run in. The man is just hitting right now. And if there was anything that was going to bring Fnatic back from an 8-4 deficit, it's Alfie hitting peak form.
Yeah, feeling confident like that.
He's
In fact,
now
he
top, by the way.
The fact he's ran back, said, I wanted to push, but I don't want to give him a Vandal. And they go, oh, I got a Guardian, mate. Sure. Not even a moment's thought. He's on their tail. 8-7. And Team Liquid, well, this is the real danger, isn't it? We've seen these timeouts change the course of the game throughout this series. They've called another one now. Panic stations with 3 in a row for their opposition. And coming into this round, it's not like they'll have a ton to work with, but Tom, you said it on Icebox. I laughed in your face.
Early timeout, yeah.
It immediately.
I think
They're
it's,
good with the hero rifle.
I think it's pretty good.
The thing is, they don't have any ults to supplement. That's the only thing that makes it a little bit harder. Like, you go back to having a Viper's Pit on both
Problem
of
is
the
that
previous
I don't think
maps.
it's made.
Yeah,
They
it's
probably
like,
haven't seen
and it's
enough
net
rounds to
two
know
stacks,
fully
and
what to
is
do.
probably one of the smartest players.
Probably
in
just going to
terms
see
of
the Vice
when
start
to
over
use it. When
towards.
he knows he'll have enough to win
Vice
them
start over
around.
towards B.
In this case, there's not even anything particularly
Actually,
close.
sorry,
Sure,
if I
there's a
start
lot
over
of
towards
orbs
A
on
and
this
they'll
map,
switch
but
it up.
for Fnatic to claim 3 of them, and even then, it's like, okay, how much can you then do with the Rolling Thunder when Alphayer is hitting headshots
Or
every
maybe
time
they
anybody
do,
walks into
like-
crosshair? It makes no difference. It is cosmetic at that point.
This? I don't know, man.
It's more about momentum. I
Where's
think
the hero
that's why
gun?
we've seen Lohan call the pause. I don't think it's necessarily to do with strategy. It's more so, okay, one of the best players of their amazing 2023 run, if not the best, is currently popping off. I'm going to take a pause so he has to sit there for a minute and cool down.
Exactly. Whether that's going to have effect or not is another thing.
Okay, well, how many does this camera
Early
see?
on, salvos and drones sent
Only
in
one.
to clear that A main to stop
Camera
the
only
push.
sees one, and the person who picked up the
Fnatic waited
orb is the person they
They're
saw
very
as
much
well. So when
expecting that to be
and
the
if they
play.
press
The
tab,
main
they'll
thing
see
here
it.
is you don't want to see individuals taking fights. You don't want to see Kayak running through sand and looking for battles, because there's a lot of weaknesses, and that's why they are taking this together slowly. The thing is, they don't have a ton of control behind them. They'll probably commit to this A site.
Yeah, we've seen both teams kind of do that, knowing that the opposing side has that opportunity for aggression with the Neon, so they are grouping up a lot more regularly. Liquid were definitely a lot more direct with their hits, and while Boaster patiently
No way.
it's not
The team
prettiest
stun came in.
fact, the aftershock does the damage. The headshot machine still continuing his run of form, and Paditek, well, it's a nice shot, but it's only
Damn,
the one.
dude,
Fnatic from
they got so
down.
much money.
I've already brought it back level, and we're only
Pretty
4
much got
rounds
max
into the
money
second
going
half.
into this.
Yeah, and the timeout doing nothing for Team Liquid, but this could be the round they planned for, with orbs to play for, with a Rolling Thunder online for Paditek, an operator coming into play as well, or at least the possibility of it. This is where the defense can look to have a real impact. Change the tide. Right now,
thank you, bro.
it is very much favored to Fnatic. Wind in their sails, attack side heated up, players coming online, Alphayer hitting shots. All of these
Okay, big
things
change up. Camo gets the op.
put to a stop if Team
So
Liquid
probably the timeout
want to
was
lock in that
maybe
master
talking about
slot
this a
here
little
right
bit.
Yeah, either side will be
Whoa, triggers,
Taking a
flash,
look
swing into this, and then they
plan
got
that will
no
be there for
info
the
on
first
Arcade
time.
though, it's just a little weird.
although based on performances throughout the season, you'd not be foolish to be surprised by that fact, though. Especially Kayak, but he's having a quieter game so far, luckily.
Yeah, this is nice from Camo though. I'm pretty sure he heard the camera,
Boaster, the smokes.
knowing that the camera went too wide so we can't see the angle.
Definite opportunities on a map like this to try and take those firefights, but they now have to try and make a decision of where they want to go, and it's straight back into the operator again.
The only thing that they can do to cut that off is put up those flaming walls of Kayak, and they don't last very long. You got to be very precise about where they're put into play. And look how passive Camo's playing. Even around the site, you see the pings go through. Perhaps that's where salvos will land. Indeed it is, but he's got an angle around it.
30
The
seconds.
stun hasn't landed on
Oh,
him.
what a shot.
Fired with great success. Rolling Thunder
Damn,
gives
bro.
him a third. And he's forced into
I
the
ne-
open. Eventually,
nearly.
he will
Dude, he hit
fall,
some
but
absolute
Paditek's
shots.
here to pick up the
Rachel was
pieces.
nice
This
as well.
is his map.
Oh,
Chronicle, try
my
as he
goodness.
might to pull this back.
Gonna
The
say,
ult won't be put
don't need to
through.
do that.
11 HP. A gust of wind will take him down, and a bullet through the wall will do just the same. Team Liquid, 9
gotta be
to
careful.
8 now.
This is the big
They've got
round.
the lead back.
Oh, yeah, Camo did incredible work. Like, you looked at the operator being brought up in the last half for Kayak, and I think he dreamed of
that
having
shot
a
was
round like
great.
this.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely being able to isolate fight after fight. The early pick onto Boaster, the second one on a player sliding through, and okay, eventually he needed a little bit of help from the Rolling Thunder from Paditek, but with how much he's been frying, that ult gets
3
him up
people that
quite
can't buy
regularly.
next.
The same, though, can be said for the other side. Once more, the combo breaker is
Dude, that
there
was
for the side
just
of
an
Liquid as
instant
they
reaction,
reclaim
instant
the
group
lead.
up over towards B. Same setup, wall,
Looking
flash. Fawns is here this time.
Fnatic have planned. It seems like, again, a much more direct approach. The B site open and Rolling Thunder, anybody on the site would be in trouble. This might just be an attempt to sell a bit of a ruse. Definitely checking on their back, definitely nervous. Maybe someone's pushed up.
I think all that control on the south side of the map and the noise being made, it's an attempt to get this little bit of a push coming through in to Alfiair's waiting hands. But it hasn't come in because the operator's the one holding it. Now that the push comes in on the other side of the map, though, the
he's gonna
mistake could be
send it.
made. Nats could go walking forward as we should see Camo start that rotate to the other side fairly soon. Ultimate already
Tail for
committed,
tail.
but it will be returned on Armageddon from both sides. Nats
Yeah, and
actually
the
catches
Lux
Alfiair
goes
with a late
out,
lurk.
and
His
does look like
patience
Patty
wins out that
mistimed
opening duel, but it's
this,
traded out
or thought he
quickly
was safe.
with Patatek down and a Rolling Thunder committed to the site. You have to rely on that cross being held by Camo, and he's doing a wonderful job.
Guy did incredible, man. He absolutely melted the man.
To put double digits on the board for Team Liquid. One step closer to an international appearance.
Wow, the second one. The second one.
this year.
And while Camo, he has been the reason they have 2 rounds in this half. The loss with the operator surviving on the site. This time his teammate gets mowed down by a bunch of utility, but he's not there. He's waiting to try and wrap back in. Moves himself to the top of the board for his squad, and well, Fnatic now are going to pull in a pause of their own. They used the Rolling Thunder, they used the Armageddon in the last round, and now their credits also start.
I do like how everyone's playing A main though. Like everyone, I see a lot of teams that when they get spotted over towards A main, they're like fight it heavy, but against the double stun, breach neon, I like that both of these teams fall all the way back over towards site.
Their run. Fnatic buried them. One time Nats was under an IGL, the next he was the IGL, and both times losing out. You can only imagine
Neon?
how good
I mean,
this
Neon's in a
feels
6 spot though.
just about take
Like
the
Neon
lead
still
here, to
looks
be so
incredible when
close,
someone's like
but
really
he's not
good on
losing
Neon.
sight of the round by round play, a game of inches.
The whole Neon
They
nerf is
are
like
inches
perfect.
away from
They
taking
actually
it
found the
across
most
the line.
perfect level.
I don't think this man is ever going to doubt the resilience of Fnatic.
No,
we
he's learned
recently
that lesson.
had our
Nats is
record
currently
beaten
15 to
for
1 in
most rounds
fast
in a
bloods,
matchup.
fast deaths.
But one that
What
was
the
definitely
hell?
up there was a Mech versus
That's
Fnatic
crazy.
split, which I think it was down to a literal
That's
millisecond.
pretty
The
insane.
difference between
0.05, I think, was it?
I don't even know. I think it was literally like 001 or something stupid. Like it was as small as it could possibly be. Well,
W keys forward, goes back to the position if they didn't insta-push. Oh boy.
He is stuck in the mud, but he has some support, or at least did, now completely isolated. The utility is enough to finally
The rest of the team is kind of joining. Nats just gets out of there on 8.
8 HP too. Fnatic with a good chance. A solid early fight. The wall tripped, baited out to start this off. Kayak's got a big battle up in
Not
heaven.
expecting that one.
And he's won it too. With Nat still clinging
Really
onto
important
life.
duel. We got to be
Look at the
catching
north
this one.
side, though. Look at the push coming through
Oh
from
my
Cyril. He
goodness, that was
almost caught
so
the spike,
close.
but it has managed to evade him. It just now went on the rope to south,
what
but
the?
Panatek cleaning up Kayak brings this back into the realm of possibility. Nats popping the ult, he's 8 HP though.
Wait, it's really
Even
good.
the pistols could take him down with ease.
Now
He
they
has
can't
to be
push over
careful, but what he
towards
has done
site.
is bought
They know
time
he's, I mean, they
for
know he's
Cyril
close.
to reposition, to set up, to deny this main aggression.
That was the goal. Doesn't want to allow
Dude, there's
them
so
to
much
cross.
delay in this choke right now.
They're not going to do it when they don't have the guns.
30 seconds
30 seconds, they're now going to make their move. Nat's incredibly low, already dealt with. Panatek isn't much healthier. It feels like a lot of this is going to come down to what Serial can do on this cross. First goes his way, but he's also tagged. The HP firmly in the favor of the Fnatic players as they finally make their way towards the site. But as one of them is planting, the swing is going to come out, but nobody connecting it back. Crashes will
Yeah, they
find
both kind of didn't commit,
They might have
really.
been injured, but he had to correct so quickly. But again, he's there when Fnatic need him most.
Gosh,
Oh,
he's
huge fight. They
he's
knew
doing
that the
sick,
plant
man.
had to be stuck. Most likely would be. So you've got a 2v1 there, and they even try to bait out the bait and switch, doubled up, but it doesn't work. He's able to adjust for both.
Yeah, it
kills
should have been
here.
a trade there
Down
for
to
sure.
51 HP in the end, but it's enough to bring them one step closer to Team Liquid. One round away.
It was Boaster he was defending. Of course he was going to win.
1,
We
2,
should've known
3,
that. The
4,
Bromance in
5.
4-4,
Can't buy
so
next.
He was never going to let Boaster fall.
At 9, 10.
He sprayed it. He didn't say it. I'll tell you that.
10 to 9. It has been a back and forth series all the way through. Well, see you later now.
What's that? 16 to 2 now. First Fs. First kills.
With his utility still down on the ground, is going to find absolutely nothing. Kiko has primed. That orbital
Stun goes in, ult goes in, Boaster. Oh, dude, there's a little bit of spam there as well. That really helped it. I think Kiko connected like one shot there that slowed Boaster down fully as well.
I don't know if we'll see it. The rifle should be enough. Camo's looking for an opportunity, a pick to be had, but nothing offered up. If he had his ulti, it would be popped. But he's going to have to do it with the operator instead. Crashies on another one. It's a wall bang through to Kiko. Serial does well with one. And the tap there, putting pressure on. Someone has to swing. And it's Alpha
Oh my god, it's a nut shot.
Go the other way. It's all onto Chronicle.
Holy, it hit some crazy shots, man. Camo looks crazy with the op though. You just see him just sending it in, retaking with the op. His gauntlet running. He had a great shot. Looks great with an op. Fnatic's, yeah, Fnatic's econ's okay. There's only one person that struggles. Anyways.
Camo has managed to do the things he's doing, like running into the site with an
Yeah, it just looks like he's playing a different game.
Gonna play a running towards him, dives in to steal the rifle, and then flips back and gets the last kill as well. He is having a game and a half.
Nice! Let's go!
And I think, well, Padatek might be very excited at the potential of joining his ex-teammates in Heretics. They're the squad to make it through earlier in the day. Already.
Oh my god.
A few pieces missing, but it doesn't seem like it. An immediate pop of the ult.
There goes the round, and they got to save these guns because they don't have any money. What was this? There's two people hiding from the camera, then late swing?
That is a blink and you'll miss it round. The attempted push of B main out of the defensive side is met with an immediate shutdown.
Alfie, I thought we forgot about him for a second. That was what it was. He was like, did I just hear the word camo?
Oh, man. It's going to be a tight margin. Serial under pressure, trying to defend this weapon. And
they need it.
Yeah, we mentioned that, oh, well, Fnatic, they won't be down and out of it economically. The only player that had a disadvantage was Kayak, but he had his ult to fall back on. That might not be quite the Blade Storm, but in his hands, it might even be better, being able to slide around and laser beam you. And for Team Liquid, it's not the same boat. If they lose these weapons, that's going to be a big disadvantage for the next round. For now, at least, they're holding on tight. The stun already subsided. They won't go down to the utility. Now it's just a formality. Weapons carried through. A full buy possible for Team Liquid. And one final hold for this squad. That is nasty.
I barely caught it the second time. Well, Liquid, the pause comes through once again. I feel
last
like
time
a
out for them.
record, but it really is ludicrous how much impact we've seen from the coaching staff on either side in this series. It seems like the game can spin on a dime. The second these pauses are called, Liquid managing to have an incredibly effective first half, even after the early start that was there for the side of Fnatic. Oh, well, there hasn't been a player within the server that hasn't had a round. It really is.
Yeah, why have you turned us into a cult? Why are you all vanishing for sacrifices for Liquid?
Prospect is you then talk about the turnaround time. The immediate
we weren't a cult, but now we're a cult.
Look what we're doing. Need to have to head into that matchup versus Na'Vi, and you better bet everything you have that the Na'Vi players are sat there watching, taking notes, picking apart everything you're doing. Angel and Happy as the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, I think we broke it.
The big brains.
I think you actually broke it.
Team, so
why is Bacon just randomly timing
really
people out? They click vanish.
Thing to
What's happened?
What could be 1 or 2 rounds away from Toronto, straight back into a series versus a squad.
There's a cooldown. Oh, okay, it ran out.
Valorant history. Toronto awaits for
God's sake.
The other
okay, what do they get? Extra hero gun to help the 2 that they saved?
Never able to take A BO3 off of Fnatic.
Surely they don't go heavy dish against a tail.
It was coming. What a time it would be to reset it in a match like this. It's not quite elimination. It's not quite revenge for stage 1 and 2 last year. But it will taste just as sweet to lock in those flights ahead of Fnatic and watch them play that double lower bracket matchup.
So Liquid didn't actually buy. Like, it looked like they had the credits to do so with the 2 guns saved, but they've taken a lighter purchase. But they do still have one ultimate online and the other close. Immediately straight through the ultimate. Well, that's about as easy as a
This is a weird one. You want a gun on your eco? Sure, here you go, mate.
A mistake. That was Crash's ult that he tried to get.
Yeah, no, he tried to run through his own teammate's ult.
Throw his into the mix. Basically executed
Now they all they know the one pushed way over towards here. Both has no idea. Guess the comms are crazy. Oh my goodness, what is this round? This is... I don't know about this round.
There's nothing the Chronicle could do. Just goes to try and fight, but it's too little, too late. 12 to 10, Liquid, 1 away.
What?
What have I just witnessed? That round was a crazy idea from Fnatic to get
the hero pass and push against what you know is going to be a low buy is insanity. That couldn't have been the plan in the...
My wall worked when it has to work now, with perfect timing.
I was in locking him out, I got the info so that he could creep round behind, I guess.
And he even chases him down. That was the thing. He knew that the player
This
was
is the wall.
isolated because of it.
He gave him a little gap here so that he could walk behind.
That could massively cost them. I don't know if they were playing off the element of surprise, but the only person who looked surprised was Kayak. Maybe the direction of the ult caught him off.
Okay, 2 chances for Liquid. 2 Toronto, 2 Masters chances. Hey, he's about to ult his teammate.
But this time Kayak has been able to find the opener. Crashes
Do they keep going? Oh my goodness.
Doing the work. Chronicle immediately trading things out, and although the weapons were weaker, he's now found an upgrade.
Off the air. This is his moment to step up. He's found one, but not ready for the second. Kiko drops him. The fallback from main a little quicker than expected. And the 4v2, the almost certain victory, now put into question. They fake the steps. No, it's a full rotation to the B site.
They're actually faking this.
That's the idea here.
Okay, does Liquid over-rotate or not?
Nats is already leaving. Kiko is sitting on the site.
Man, they might not expect Kiko here.
Isolated fight, but he's realized great read from
If
Nats.
Kiko sticks on site, and I'm pretty sure he's just sticking top of site, they might have no idea. Especially if they see Nats here and he baits this in. Oh, this is...
Be under pressure.
This is...
Plenty of flashes, stuns, a Molotov as well. An orbital strike, 1 away. If Boaster gets the kill, it feels like the round is already sealed. As Kiko sits in this back corner, it's not necessarily checked on, but even still they dance past.
There's no way it went down like that.
Trading from the side of Fnatic.
You gotta give it to Kayak though, he did good to send it in here. Kayak had a good slide.
Well, previously in some of these rounds, Tom, you've seen
Adza, thank you so much. Adza 9 with 24, dude. Thank you for 2 years, mate. Appreciate the 2 years, man.
Different now. They're sweating, realizing that this is slipping out of their grasp.
Good job, boys.
Through
Let's
their
focus
fingers.
on the last round. They have too low money, boys.
And that's exactly it. Focusing up for the final round, knowing
Did
that
my
Team
job for
Liquid
me.
will be a little bit shaky. There's weaknesses here. They'll look to exploit them. Nats' ult could bridge the gap.
Yeah, and more so Camo's. I think that's why Camo has the rifle. 1 kill, he gets his ult. Maybe he can
dude, we got a
juggle that
punish
off.
set up for this
Instead,
though.
He's going to be up front, even setting up a stun. They're looking to try and just put him into position. But after the initial denial, nothing found by either side. A stalemate.
Yeah, but this disadvantage goes to Team Liquid here. They're keeping 4 players towards this side of the map, and Fnatic have to re-aggress. They're going to do so with less of that punchy utility. Deep flash, orbital strike put into play, though. That's going to force them forward. It forces Camo into their waiting arms. He couldn't get out of there.
Nice
and had to go in deeper. The stun is perfect from Kayak. Sets himself up for success, and the round should be theirs. Serial, he had a shaky start to this map.
Whoa.
A chance to recover it all. It's just Nats. 1v2, an ult to be used, to be put into play right in the final round. And that's going to delay the push.
Yeah, they have time. They didn't need to run it down into the site. They didn't need to take the fights without their weapons. maybe he thought they were more committed than they were, and because of that, they're able to fall back and look to
I mean,
refight
Wall
this.
and
All still in
Forms.
play. Razorfine's still there.
Yeah, it's going to
Known
delay
it's
him a
there,
lot.
though. They've known it's there every single time. But Nats has already repositioned. Chronicle's gonna get
Holy,
isolated, though.
dude, the
Maybe thinking it was a
2v5.
little bit deeper, and now 15 seconds. There's not really any time for Boaster to run it back, but he will land this shot anyway.
Jesus.
IGL, Boaster keeps them in the map.
What a time to step up to the plate. The time could have solved the problem for them. The Razorvines, the walls set up perfectly. And he was there
Dude,
just
what a
in
shot
time
this was.
to catch them. Serial gave them that chance.
Oh,
You've not seen that side of Boaster for
Holy,
some time,
man.
if at
Boaster's
all.
giving it.
Fnatic, they've dug deep when they needed it most. And now, overtime locked in.
you would have bet your house on Nats from that position.
Man, that's I-Series Boaster. Oh, yeah, what
Overtime
the?
locked in.
Chat, we'll speed up until
Bet
it
your house
starts going
on
down.
Nats from that position. Boaster stuck behind the wall. You look at the scoreboard and you'd believe that that was it. That was Liquid going to Toronto.
Dude, I actually haven't seen
It's
Boaster like
OT.
that since
The
an
climb
I-Series,
back
man.
from
That's so
8-4
funny,
down, the
bro.
climb back from
He's actually
12-10.
giving it.
Fnatic have been on the back foot all the way up until now. But this is where they do their best work. Both players stunned. Actually, a somewhat isolated Kayak. He has support from Boaster, but it's a little bit further behind. Needs to find a fight. He
Crazy
gets it.
timing.
That's
Nats just
gone.
decided to go through. His Kayak decided to get out of there. It's a
Indeed,
great shot from
coming the smokes,
Kiko.
though, is Kiko to level the playing field. Chronicle manages to answer back north side.
Okay,
Late
Kiko
flank coming in. Very
is
late
going
indeed,
for a
and that's
big
why
play.
Fnatic pumped the brakes. They've got the advantage, and they're going to let these players, Crashies and Alpha here, try to carve out some control of their own. Not wanting to go up the rope and into heaven. They're waiting for a peek. They're waiting, knowing Team
Oh
Liquid
my,
will
what?
look for information, and knowing their utilities coming
Damn,
online
that's
soon.
nice.
Both come into play at exactly the right
Damn,
moment.
that's
And
nice,
with
man.
Fnatic falling, the round is there for Fnatic.
Oh, boy.
Boaster's on his feet again. They were just moments, seconds away from defeat, from watching Liquid break the curse of BO3s in VCT, book their tickets to Toronto. And instead, it's Fnatic who are close to filling out those forms.
Just one round away. And well, if there wasn't, if there wasn't already a back-breaking round throughout the entirety of this map, seems like maybe round 24 was the one. One round is all that Fnatic needs to book that spot. It's been a turnaround since kickoff. Not the performance they were looking for. Crashy's rise to prominence, and Kayak, no doubt, becoming one of the best duelists we've seen in the league. But Liquid still stand in their way. Let's not be silly. This has been a back and forth series all the way through. This is not done until one wins by 2.
Dude, it's like the first time they've played the Vice over towards A.
Far from over. Team Liquid still have 5 players standing.
Dude,
Most of
Nats
which
is just
towards
solo
this A
sight.
but they're sending
Scary.
2 back to B. Fnatic have pumped the brakes to great effect. They've baited out the wall. They didn't push on the back of it. 50 seconds on the clock.
Boaster has
Tickets
one
back
smoke
in.
left.
4
The
players
hell
here
is
to
that
work
stun?
with. Stuns go through. So do the salvos, but Nats still has a safe angle. They might not expect that. They've seen him now. Boaster and Chronicle finding
Big Joe
2.
coming
This
up here
could
for
be it.
Patty.
The final domino set to fall. Team Liquid dig deep with Panatek on 1, but he's immediately traded out. It's Camo who has to find success. The spike right in front of him.
my.
And now on the floor, Alphayear has to move back to get it. Camo in his way, but it will fall.
Holy bro, this was such an insane game.
To send Fnatic
Boaster's
to
going
Toronto.
crazy.
Right from the
Oh
depths
boy,
of
man,
defeat.
what a
We've
banger of a
talked
game.
about this
Dude, that's
roster
gonna feel rough for
and their
Liquid.
resilience throughout
Dude, but this is more
the
than Boaster
history of
celebrated
this
for
squad.
for
2023,
Jam,
they
for
made their
Masters.
name, go back to
Going
Locking
crazy.
They were dead and buried and came back to win a title. In this series, there's